So I got into the van life a few years ago, I'd say. I started researching it. I came across this guy's Instagram page that was living in his Prius. So I was like, oh, that'd be so cool. I've always wanted to travel, do a big road trip across the country. So I started looking at that, and then since I grew up camping, that kind of snowballed into, oh, I should get a camper. That's way more realistic than a Prius. And then became this road trip that I took across the country, and then the rest is history. It's just become my full-time lifestyle. When I first started, I was just traveling, like I think it was about 3-4 months. So I wasn't working, I'd saved up money. Then I came to Victoria, BC, fell in love with out here, needed money. So I'm working 2 jobs right now, working 6 days a week currently. So I don't have exactly all the freedom that I once had, but now it's kind of just like weekend trips here and there when I can. And kind of just exploring the island. Usually in the summertime, I take off. Last summer I did a huge road trip all the way down to San Diego. So when I can, not as frequent as I would like at the moment, but it is what it is. I grew up in a fairly small town, so kind of just wanting to break free of that. And then coming out here and like seeing the mountains and the ocean was just mind-blowing to me. So yeah, just the whole vibe and the people and the beauty of it is really what has made me stay here and not go back to Ontario. I've been living in my van for 2 years now. So this is my van, Nancy Jean. She is a Dodge Ram Roadtrek, and she is 36 years old, so 1983. An older man had it, so I bought it off him for $5,000. I did just rip out the flooring, make new flooring, reupholster, and paint. That's kind of it. And then just decorated it to make it seem more homey, but yeah. The big, beautiful Nancy Jean. Come on in. So back here is my bedroom. It's a fairly big bed. I have storage above, which has a bunch of my summer clothes in it right now. I have my bathing suits, some sweaters. I have some electronics up here as well. Underneath the bed, there's a little bit of storage. Underneath the bed is also where I have my furnace. So in the wintertime, when it's cold, I have my furnace. It's built in, it runs off propane. So that's under there. Also on either end here, there's the propane furnace under that one, and then I have my water tank for my sink underneath this one. So there's not a whole lot of storage actually underneath where there's typically storage, but I have some lawn chairs and some other like jackets and stuff put back under there. And then there's the kitchen here. I just have some dry food up there, some cooking stuff up there. I also have a 2-burner stove, so that's how I do any cooking, if I do any. My cutlery in here. Then I have my fridge. I'm not gonna open the door though, because the door is broken at the moment, so every time I open it, it kind of like falls off. The more you hang around me, the more you realize that there's small little things that break in here that I don't know how to fix. So that's one of them. The fridge also runs off of propane. And then in here, I just have like all of my dishes, dish soap, Lysol, all my cleaning supplies underneath there as well. There's my sink here. My sink at the moment isn't actually working, but for some reason the water pump isn't working. I didn't use it all winter. I was just scared of the water freezing, but I filled up my water tank and the water's not coming out, so that's just another thing I have to figure out how to fix. In here we have my closet, which is much bigger than I think I need. If I were to redo my van, I probably wouldn't have a high closet. I would probably have this shorter, so it makes it more open in here. It's a little bit messy as well, but I have my clothes mostly hanging in here, my socks and underwear above here. Inside of this door here, there's actually a porta potty. I just recently started using it because I figured the only way to find out how to empty it is to fill it up, so I just started using it and then had to figure out how to empty it. So yeah, there's a little porta potty toilet that I just used to go pee. I don't put toilet paper or anything down there, strictly just for that, but I try not to use it if I don't have to. And then I also just have a bin in there with some more clothes. So yeah, just more storage area in there. And now I have entered what I call the living room, also the cabin, driving cabin. So yeah, this I actually have had quite a few friends over recently, and we all like hang out up here. This chair swivels. The front one I usually just keep it turned around, but there's like a fair amount of seating up here. These both have seat belts as well, so if we need to use them while driving, we can, but typically I don't really have anyone driving around with me, it's just me. There's also storage underneath both of these. So in here I just have my tools. and all the stuff that it's kind of like a garage, like all my garage stuff would be under that seat. And in here I just have some like more blankets, pillowcases. That's also where my house battery is, which I'm sort of having an issue with at the moment. But yeah, that's where that's kept. So the house battery's in here, and it runs my lights, my water pump, and also I need it to run my furnace. Unfortunately, the furnace doesn't just run off of propane, which is a little bit annoying. So if my battery's dead, then I don't have heat, just because that fan in there uses the battery. One of the things that I love, but also might change if I had the opportunity, the ceiling here is actually all cushion fabric ceiling, which I think is kind of neat. However, these skylights, which I also love but have had issues with, last winter they were leaking. So water had leaked in here, and just having fabric up here with moisture like really kind of scares me. I feel like if I had the chance or the money, I would rip that out and put like wood ceiling, just because I'm nervous that like mold might end up in there. So that's one thing that I would change if I could. So Ducky is probably my favorite little thing in Nancy Jean. And Ducky's right here. Saving concussions is what I say his job is. It's quite sharp. And while I was renovating this, my dad, God bless my dad, was every time he would be exiting the vehicle, would smash his head on that. So I had put it up there because of my dad. Some of the things I struggle with living in the van would definitely be the winters. It's Canada. The winters can be a bit harsh. When things break down, I am not a handy woman at all. I try to fix things on my own all the time. If you take a look at my closet door, there's about 4 attempts to fix the thing. So I struggle with things like that, but that's about it, just kind of breaking down and the weather. But those are things I've also gotten used to, so I don't think of it as too much of a struggle now. It's very much just a part of my life now. One of my biggest struggles being in the van, and that was June of last year. I had appendicitis, so I did about a week of recovery from surgery in this van by myself, and that is the only time during this journey that I had felt like these 4 walls could not be any smaller. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I had to go through, is like a health issue in a van. At those times, it would really be nice to just have like a hot shower and like more space. The places I park at night are usually like near parks or in parks, because you're not in anyone's way. As long as you kind of move in the morning, you keep it moving, and there's public bathrooms. Usually near parks, there's public bathrooms, so that's nice. You just don't want to be outside of a residential area is the biggest thing, because they don't like that, they'll complain. There's one main street here in Victoria that I've been living on for about a year now. Like, not every single night, I keep it moving every couple of days, but that's kind of my go-to spot. And there's quite a few other van lifers that are living there at the moment as well. Here on the island, there's definitely a community of people. There's like a housing crisis. It's crazy expensive to live here. So a lot of people have been moving into vans. I really wish that living in a van helped me save money. It definitely can, if you do it properly. I'm still only like 24 years old, and I still like to go out and have a good time, and I eat out downtown. I'm downtown 6 days a week working, so it's really hard to, bring meals for every meal of the day. But if you do it smart and you really pay attention, you can definitely save a lot of money. It just depends if you're traveling far or not too. Like, I don't spend that much money on gas right now because I'm just in the city. But if you're traveling lots of gas, it'll be a big part of your spending. What do I like most about living in a van? That this is all mine. Everything in here, these are all my things. This is all I need. It's mine, I own it. The freedom that can come with it, is awesome, even though I don't have a whole lot of that at the moment. And just the people I meet, the people it attracts, the opportunities I feel like it's given me is what I love the most, yeah. My future plans, I'd say, would be to live in this van for as long as I can. I mean, I love her, but realistically, she's like 36 years old, which is pretty old for a vehicle. So the time will eventually come where she might not run anymore. But I think the long-term goal would be to like own a piece of property somewhere up island and like have a little tiny home on it. Or I don't ever want to get rid of Nancy Jean, so I think I'm going to park her on that property one day. But yeah, I think it would be have like my own spot somewhere here on the island, and still live out that tiny home lifestyle, but a bit bigger. One day when I have a family and kids and stuff, I can't fit all that into here, so gotta upgrade eventually. Yeah. I think one message I would like to get across is that you don't have to be like traveling full time to be living in a van. I did that at the beginning. I was traveling all over, had so many amazing memories, and then, you know, the money eventually runs out and I have to get a job and I have to settle down somewhere. I did anyway. So I think what I want to get across is that you don't need to go somewhere crazy. You don't have to do all these crazy things to live in a van. That's the greatest thing about doing it, is you make it how you want it. You live your life the way you want, and that's what this van represents.
Be sure to subscribe to Exploring Alternatives and check out our playlists for more stories like this. You can also follow Clarissa on Instagram at Clarissa King. Thanks for watching.